Business automation and estate agents. Today, we will be discussing how estate agents can get their feet wet with business automation if they don't want to buy an off-the-shelf product. My guest today is Maarten Kruger from Tech Genius. Welcome, Maarten.
I'm Lonnie.
So, Maarten, give me a little bit of background. How can estate agents who don't want to buy something that's already on the market and they want to automated system that they can use themselves, how can they go ahead to get something like that?
Yes, well, I think the starting point is, what do you want to start automating? What's the most frustrating part? So we recently had a query from estate agents who came to us and said, well, every time when they conclude a deal, they have a deal form, a deal sheet that they complete with a lot of information about the specific deal, the specific client, etc., etc. Now, this is very valuable information. So currently, if you fill it in on a sheet, you file it away somewhere in a file, the information is just not accessible for you. It doesn't really add much value to your business. And it's also a part of the sales process. You want to ensure that it gets done for every single deal. So the great thing is with that example is you can start really, really small and just start with that specific form. Making it something that you can fill in online and it's captured in a database. So I pretty much went back to the estate agency and I asked them, what do you want to do? Do you want to do something cheap and nasty, or do you want to start building something for the long term? Because a cheap and nasty option would have been to maybe create a Google form, and the information is put in a spreadsheet. But then I gave them the alternative, which say, listen here, we can create your user interface for the specific form, and then we capture this information on our dedicated server that's hosted remotely. So it's a start of your system for your business. So you're only starting with a deal sheet now, but the next logical step would probably be to add your clients on there, and then you can start using it as a CRM system. The world's your oyster, where you want to go from there, but at least you're starting to invest in your business in a system where you can expand on and add additional functionality on.
Maarten, I would also assume that a custom-made system would be more secure than a Google Sheets document, for instance.
Sure. So Google Sheets as a system is secure. I mean, it's SSL protected, the same kind of security you have on a banking website. So okay. The problem isn't necessarily with the infrastructure. The problem is, who do you give access to that spreadsheet, and how easy is it to change information? Now, with a deal sheet situation, what happens is you enter the information and you never want to alter the information. I mean, once it's captured, it should stay static. It should be read-only for everybody. That can be a challenge with a Google Sheet, because there's always somebody who's got access rights to change that information. Anybody who's got editing rights on that. So the last thing you want to do is accidentally change information. So so although it's secure, it's not very safe in terms of limiting people, who can change. It's more limited in terms of not allowing people to change the information after it's captured, because in a database situation, you've got full control. The other limitation around a spreadsheet is obviously speed, because it's not a database. A database is really a fast sort of place where you can put information and data, and it's incredibly fast. Whereas, a spreadsheet will always be limited in terms of speed. Also, not to mention that your data is probably sitting in a data center in the US, and if you're in South Africa, there's always a bit of a lag in performance, etc., etc.
Maarten, the part that I actually like best, and I think it's one of the buzzwords these days, is the functionality of CRM, that you can automate your business in a way that you've got a CRM function, which I know a lot of systems off the shelf can't really give you, or is not as effective. So can you maybe just elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, so if we talk about CRM, you pretty much have your sales funnel where you want to track conversions from leads. You basically qualify your leads and you get your opportunities. You want to make sure those opportunities are nurtured to a point where it basically becomes a deal. Now, for estate agents, I know, when the market is very hot, they don't need to look for as much business. But when the market is very soft, then it's important to continually keep track of how people's situations are changing. You know, are people marrying? You know, are kids moving out of the home because then you might want to downscale? Are you retiring? Are you relocating in a job? So you want to stay in touch with a very large number of people, because only a fraction of those will be in these situations that actually could trigger potentially. So that's on the, so it's not just a matter of, you know, if somebody comes and say, I want to buy a house, it's also building this huge customer database and staying in touch with the people. So there's often a need, you know, to do things like on anniversaries, or, you know, if you've stayed once a year, you know, sort of anniversary of when you moved into your home, when your kids are graduating. These are all events that you want to try and use to stay in touch with this large database of clients, to keep that connection going, that your estate agency is top of mind, in case any future opportunities are. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Yes, they definitely are. Something else that came to mind is the fact that you can monetize systems like those.
Yes, so I think what you're referring to is the fact that we can build a system for a specific client, and then that client can then resell the system to other people. So let's say, for example, you're estate agency A. Now, we developed a system for you. If you want to monetize it, you could potentially resell that system to estate agency B, C, and D, especially if they're not your direct competitors. Maybe they operate you in, let's say it could be location based, that they're not competition. For example, you're in one province and the other estate agency focuses exclusively in the other province. So for example, and that really brings down the, really improves the affordability of a system. So if you have 10 estate agencies, each one only has to pay 1/10 of the development fee. And the thing is, you know, it's not a matter where you're paying, you know, recurring subscriptions for a cloud-based system, but you're not actually owning any of the intellectual property. In this event, you know, in this scenario, you're starting to accrue an asset which has got, you know, value for your business.
So Maarten, from our different discussions, I have learned with business automation, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution that you have to buy off the shelf, because we all know there are lots of systems available in different industries, but you can actually make it your own, take ownership of it, monetize it, make it fit the way that you want to fit it, and be happy that your clients will be happy in the end, because the user experience will be so much better. Thank you, Maarten. Thank you for this insightful talk again. I hope a lot of us estate agents will find this interesting and see how they can automate their business.
Thanks, Melanie. Enjoy your week.